What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down the best routes that wide receivers can use in one-on-one. So we're going to be talking about some different ways you can get separation, what you need to do at the top of the route to get open and off the line. So I hope this video helps you guys out. But also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you want access to over 200 plus wide receiver route press releases, catching drills to improve your skills over an 8-week period, check out that very first link in the description below for our 8-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule. It's a daily split with sets, reps, and examples of each drill to improve your skills on the field. So check out that very first link below, fellas, if interested. Let's get started. So the first route we're going to be covering here is kind of like a shoulder rip post. So what do I mean by that? I mean by like a post, a dig, it could be a curl where you get skinny on the route. Like, listen, I want to make sure that when you guys do one-on-ones, right? Everybody loves one-on-ones. I think it's a great tool that will help you get better as a wide receiver if you treat it realistically. And that's why I think this shoulder dip and this shoulder reduce to get skinny on a post, on a dig is the best thing that you could possibly do to keep your routes realistic. So everybody knows, like, obviously, like on a post route, if I get an inside release, that's ideal. But what happens a lot in one-on-ones is wide receivers will do this off the line. They'll get a DB to move off the platform. They take the inside release, but they just keep running to the inside. They never get back on their like straight line, if you will. And that's going to screw up spacing on the play. You guys got to understand when you guys are doing one-on-ones, obviously there's nobody else on the field. But when it's an actual game, like let's say you're running like a double post concept. This wide receiver's running a post, the slot receiver's running a post. If you take off against press and you just take off and run to the inside and break this post off whenever you feel like it, you're going to run into another route. You have to practice how you play. I get it sometimes in coaching situations or camp situations. You're trying to impress a coach. You're trying to look good. Believe me, you're going to look good to him if you can get open on a realistic route. That is what will impress him, because trust me, no coach likes it when a receiver runs a post route in one-on-ones and he catches it on the opposite hash because he just ran away from the guy. We have to learn how to get skinny, and that comes from using this shoulder dip and this shoulder reduce. So off the line, obviously, we can't just take off and run. I have to get back into this DB's cushion to either get him to squeeze to the sideline or to be able to restack. So when you guys are coming up on the stem of your route, so many wide receivers will run and they'll be super tall. They won't get low. They won't use their leverage. They won't use their speed to their advantage. Fellas, if you could get an inside release on a DB on an inside route, my main goal should always be to restack. And if not, it's to get as skinny as possible so I could lean into him at the break point and break it off. So when you guys are on this stem, you got to make sure that we are in a low position. I dip the inside or the outside shoulder. I'm trying to get back into this DB's cushion. I'm constantly fighting and using my size to get to either that position where I'm restacked and I can make a cut, or maybe he is hip to hip with me and I could lean into him with my upper body. But you have to have a plan, fellas. So that shoulder reduce, getting skinny is the best way to keep your routes realistic when you are running one-on-ones. So a route that I like, inside release post, inside release dig, showcase to that coach that you're not just going to run away from the DB and force the release way inside. Let's try to get skinny. Let's try to push vertical so I could get space. So let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. This is a great example here of this inside release post route and how you guys should get skinny by using your pad level, using your size and your body to your advantage. Okay, so now next route I want to discuss that I think can, because again, one-on-ones is so heavily publicized because I think it showcases route running, it showcases great DB play. It's a drill, it's a period for the wide receivers. Let's be very frank. It's a place where wide receivers can show their ability to beat man coverage, beat a one-on-one DB because that's one of the harder things to do. Now, like I said, you have to keep things realistic. And if you're in a setting where you're at a college camp, you're at practice, you're trying to impress your coach, nothing impresses your coach more than running a route efficiently. Right? A coach does not want to see you do some crazy release that takes 8 seconds and then get up into the route. He wants to see you move efficiently and be able to get separation in a live game setting. That is what we have to do to stand out. So this is going to be an inside release out route against outside shade press. So let's play this thing full speed. So this wide receiver does a great job attacking outside, taking the inside release, giving a head fake at the top and winning on this route. This is like a coach's dream right here, because when you have outside shade press, let's think about this. So many wide receiver coaches who maybe don't necessarily know, from a quarterback perspective or maybe an offensive coordinator perspective, because I think that's important to think like an offensive coordinator or a quarterback as a receiver. But they will say that you run an outside route you have to take an outside release. So you're running an out route, you got to take an outside release. But you got to understand that DB play can affect what I want to do off the line. At the end of the day, this DB is pressing you for one reason: screw up the timing with the QB. Let's get hands, let's get physical, so the quarterback has to move on to another read, and that DB did his job. That's why he's in press. So now when he's outside shade, right, that means that he's just shifted to the outside. What is he trying to do? He's trying to force you inside because he probably has some kind of safety help. He doesn't want you to go outside. So if you try to like fake inside and take an outside release, this DB will not bite. He's doing whatever possible to not give that up. So he will stay with you. And if you try to force this release outside, he will get hands. And when you break to that out route, he'll be right on your hip. And we don't have that much space for the QB to throw me open. We need to give the quarterback space because there is no defense for a perfect throw. There are plenty of times where that DB's right on your hip and that QB just throws a dang good ball. So we have to make sure, fellas, that we take what the DB gives me. So Martin right here off the line knows it's outside shade. All right, fine. Let's attack him outside. He's going to keep that. Let's try to get him to hesitate. Let's take the inside release because now I started right next to the hash. And at the break point, I'm right next to the hash. At the break point, I'm not 5 yards to the sideline where that DB's got a good chance to make a play. I gave myself space to run out of the break. So when we do this, like I said in the last clip, you got to have a mindset. You got to have a plan for the top of the break. It's either like on that post, I'm dipping that shoulder and getting skinny so I could restack or lean into him. I'm taking this inside release on an out route, or I'm taking an inside release on this out route so I could restack and give a head fake. Or if this DB's playing it very well, I could just throw him by. I could put my hand on his left hip, his left shoulder, and slip underneath. But either way, restacked or slip under, I gave the QB room to throw me open. That is the key, fellas. Make sure that we understand leverage, we understand how to run routes and spacing. Think like a quarterback. You want to stand out one-on-ones? Think like how a quarterback would think. That's why it's always great when you see quarterbacks make the switch to receiver and they're super successful. You know, you got Julian Edelman, Travis Kelce. I know he plays tight end, but still, they know what to do. They know where to sit. They know how to create spacing for themselves, and they don't force things because they've seen it from the other side. Nothing tougher than a receiver hugging the sideline with a DB right on his hip. I will not throw that ball because it's a pick six every time if I don't put that thing on an absolute rope. Let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. This is Textbook by Casey Martin. Taking the inside release, take him what the DB gives him. So an inside release out route, fellas, because you will see outside shade press if you're doing one-on-ones. All right, so now this route here is a little unique. This is like a post out against press. Now, I am not the biggest fan of double moves against man coverage. Here's why, but there's another reason why you need to work it. Because if you got man coverage, right, and let's say you're at the high school level or the youth level, usually a lot of the time when it's man, what is the defense bringing? They're bringing pressure, right? So like, let's say it's man coverage across the board. The defense is probably going to be in cover 0, cover 1. That means that they're going to be pressuring that quarterback. So quarterback probably doesn't have time to do a double move. Like, let's say, for example, let's draw it up. Like, let's say the quarterback's here. Let's say it's like doubles, right? So we have a doubles formation. And let's say, you know, for example, it's cover 0, right? So DB's matched up, everybody's here. So that means there's 4 guys out of the play. But that means everybody else is in the box. And let's say we have a running back also. So everybody else is in the box. What's 11 minus 4? That's 7. So that means there's 7 guys in the box. That means they're probably going to be bringing 7 guys with pressure unless the running back releases. So let's say the running back stays in the block. That means the QB has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys blocking for him. And they're bringing in the running back. So that's 6. So that means they're bringing 7. We have 6 to block 7. So what does that mean? 1 guy is unblocked, and that is the quarterback's responsibility. So if on the outside, I have a receiver running like a post corner, a post out, like let's say maybe I have this guy running like a come back and go, it's not the best thing to throw because you don't have that kind of time. Now, there's another form of man coverage where you maybe have more time, and that would be called 2-man. So what it is it's man coverage across the board, but instead of 7 guys in the box, there's only 5, and those 2 safeties are over the top playing like deep help. So when they're playing that deep help, now they're bringing 5. We have 6 to block 5. QB's got some time, right? He's got some time to operate back there. It's man on man. Everybody's got a guy. So if they're doing that, he has more time to throw a double move route. So that's why it can be realistic to work double moves, but it can also be unrealistic. So this route, I'll stop talking, I'll play at full speed, is a post out. So this is a great route to be able to get separation because against two-man, what the QB relies heavily on is winning one-on-one matchups. So I like a post corner, I like a post out, because if you take that outside release, right, on a post route, like we talked about, let's talk, for example. So we take an outside release on a post route. He gives a move inside, takes what the DB gives him because he's inside leverage, and we're running this post out. But if I'm running a post route and I took this break, what are my two options? I could either restack or what? He's hip to hip with me. I could do what? You could throw by. You could slip underneath him because when we can slip underneath him, what do you think he's going to do? Open up those hips and try to drive. I take my 3 steps and I break this thing right out. So fellas, you have to understand when to use the double move, but it is still good to work on it. So my 2 favorites are probably post corner and post out because I feel like if you get inside shade press, which you probably will, it's easy to work that because all you got to do is restack. And if you could restack and run that post out, that's perfect. Or if you slip underneath, that's perfect. So let's play this thing again, full speed one more time. That's a great job here by this wide receiver running this post out. But I'm telling you guys this to make sure that we treat one-on-ones realistic. You need to know the situations. You need to understand the coverage because not every single route will work against every single type of man. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comments section below. Always appreciate the feedback. Always great to hear from you guys as usual. And again, fellas, if you would like an 8-week wide receiver on-field workout schedule, 200+ wide receiver drills, check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.